Hello, welcome back to the Diamonds and Rough podcast. I'm joined by Bobby,
I
and
thank you for having me back.
yep, we're doing baseball stuff again because big news: Fernando Tatis, 80 game suspension, not going to be there for that playoff run.
What an idiot.
If you were San Diego, whether it's a player, GM, front office member, like how are you actually feeling? And I think they didn't hide how they felt, but
I mean, disappointed. That's the only word for it. I mean, you could be angry, but I think the overwhelming feeling is disappointment. I think Mike Clevenger said it best when he was asked about it. He hopes Tatis grows up.
yeah,
It's something where you need to put the club first, and he hasn't this entire season. Like, forget the PEDs. He hasn't played this year because he was riding his motorcycle and fell off.
mm-hmm.
That's why he even put himself in the position to need PEDs to enhance his recovery. So it's very selfish of him. He's only thinking about himself, and he is only 23. He's our age, but he still is in a place where he needs to be more mature than his age.
Agreed. What was I gonna say? I already forgot what I was gonna say. We just started and I'm blanking. I'm messing it up. Do you believe what he was saying? What did he say? Ringworm? Need a medication, just so happen to have a PED in it.
No, and this is because at first I'll say I thought it was a possibility. I thought it's probably something that he was just saying, but it is maybe a possibility. At the end of the day, though, I saw a video where there are two different medications that have very similar names. I think one's like clobestol and the other's like clobestadol or something. It's two things where it's like an extra syllable. And the one that he's guilty of is the one with the extra syllable that is a PED. So he's trying to basically bank on everyone's stupidity and garner some sympathy for himself, I think.
Yeah, I have a question. And this is just, I don't know if you know the answer, but it's something I thought about. Let's say Tatis did have ringworm and a doctor did prescribe him what he took. I don't actually know what it is, whatever. But let's just say he's telling the truth. And like he got prescribed it, so he took it, didn't think otherwise. Just so happened to be the wrong thing, whatever. If he went to the MLB before he took it and went, I have this, they prescribed me this, what should I do? What do you think the MLB would do? Do you think they'd be like, okay, we'll allow it? Or do you think they would say, you're going to need to see if there's anything else you can take? Or like, because I just wonder, he's such a prolific player that I'm sure he has easy access to like asking for permission and you get a quick response. Like,
so from what I've heard, I was looking into this. From what I've heard, the MLB provides a list of alternative substances you can use in certain situations. I don't know if ringworm medication is one of those situations, but I do know that for the most part, they try to do that because obviously there are situations where there are just generic medicines that we use, like hydrocortisone has a topical steroid in it. Like that is something where that could get flagged in a blood test. So, but like you said, if he were to ask, I think that's a whole different story. I also don't believe his story. I think it's a load of bull.
Yeah,
I think it's him trying to save face. So
exactly, because it's like, I think he should understand the implications. It's, we made so many moves. We're at this position, and the key to this team is when I play. When I play, they're the best lineup in baseball. They have good enough pitching and postseason experience that they can legitimately give the Dodgers a challenge. Without him, Soto and Machado have to play like 0-4 Manny Ramirez, in my opinion. Like they just have to be that good, and Drury has to be like unreal with runners in scoring position. Like I think it's a very tall task to beat the Dodgers, especially because I mean they lost recently, but they were on a 12-game winning streak. If you are rooting against the Dodgers, not that you root for injury, but Walker Buehler's out, that's a big loss. But still, they just have so much pitching and depth, and like they're just a super team.
And speaking towards their depth, even with Walker Buehler going down, they're getting Dustin May back, who's a young stud who should be able to fill that position in the rotation easily. They just got Andrew Heaney back. I want to say his Heaney.
Yeah, but he just got like a bruise and got pulled from.
He got re-injured. Wow.
Apparently, he's good for his next start. I say this
Okay.
because he's on my fantasy team, and
Yeah,
I
you
get
hate
so
he's on mine as
frustrated.
well. You hate
I get so
stashed him
frustrated
since
with him
April.
getting hurt because you look at his numbers and it's like he is a consistent at least 10. And
Mhm.
for anyone who plays fantasy baseball, you know that's big because you can get negatives real easy, and then that kills you. But yeah, to summarize it, I absolutely hate when any guy uses a PED. Unless this isn't unless, and this is maybe a little biased because of a certain man who took PEDs for this. If it's like a recovery thing where it's like you are not going to get back to where you were, so you're just like, I'm going to take a PED and take the suspension, which is what Julian Edelman did. That I kind of understand. But I don't know, that might be a hot take. But
I've actually had the same argument with some people. It is definitely a hot take, and it's very divisive. You either agree or you strongly disagree. But when it first broke, that was my thought process, is that maybe Tatis didn't feel like he was going to be able to get back this season without it. And you're not thinking that you're not going to get caught. This is the MLB at this point after the steroid era is too good at cracking down on it. But he was almost back in the majors very quickly. I know that they said that was the timetable, but he already looked good. He didn't look like he was rusty in AAA.
Did he get like a triple and 2 doubles at his first game? Something crazy, and you're like, oh boy.
So in the back of my mind, I am thinking, where would he have been if he hadn't taken it? Maybe everyone when they got Soto and Hader, you think that they're trying to make a World Series run this year. That was obviously the goal, but they do have Soto for 2 more years. And if Soto doesn't do this, maybe it's worse. Maybe it's a nagging injury. Maybe he comes back and you see him on the injured list again.
That's fair. Maybe they told Tatis, like, we're getting Soto. You need to do everything to get back as soon as possible for playoffs.
And in his mind, that was one of the everything in his powers.
Oh, sweet. If I just take performance enhancing drugs, I'll be good. I bring up Edelman because that's the time where he took PEDs, and I'm a Patriots fan. So like, but I was like, good, take the 4-game suspension so you can go back.
Yep.
Right. But in that situation, I was like, he's had so many injuries. That was a brutal torn ACL. He's getting old, so recovering is not easy for him. And that's the reason he retired. It's not that he didn't love the game. He's just like, I have like 5 major injuries I need to come back from, and it's just not possible.
And I was there
and James
this
White's
past
the guy
season
who
when
just
they
retired, where he has the same thing.
I was there. I was actually at that game that he got injured, the James White injury. That was awful. You could see as soon as he went down that he was done. But that same game, they were honoring Edelman, and he ran out from the tunnel all the way. They had the podium on the other end zone.
Yeah.
And he didn't look right running.
Nah.
Like he tried to sell it for the crowd. You know how Jules is. He was trying to bring energy. It was down at halftime anyway, and he just didn't look right.
Yeah. He gave his life to the game. But we'll bring it back to baseball. I just want to do a quick segue talking about steroids, because whenever a guy takes steroids, you lose respect. I know the saying of what's the saying? Something about like cheaters. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. Something like that. But that annoys me.
So bit of a hot take. I know you're going to disagree. The steroid era in baseball was entertaining. I didn't hate it. It made the game. I mean, those guys forever are going to hold those records because of steroids, and I get that. But it made the game more accessible for the average fan. The average fan doesn't want to go to a game and see a perfect game thrown. They'd rather see 5 home runs.
Yeah, which to me is crazy, though. You don't want to see like history. That's absurd. But no, like that, I will never like be cool with steroid era. And I know there's documents on it where like the home run race was like incredible, right? It was McGuire and Sosa like battling for the home run race. And my dad and grandparent, and maybe my brother, I don't know if my brother was there. My brother was not there. They were at the Fenway Home Run Derby. So they saw that, which is all these juiced guys hitting absolute bombs. And then Ken Griffey wins, who is clean, which that's my goat of baseball. I don't know.
You can't tell me that you wouldn't want to go to a home run derby where you just have like I know he's not, but like Soto juiced, Tatis juiced. I mean, Julio Rodriguez is
I mean,
rookie.
yeah, but that's just for like a home run derby, not for like the season. Because then it's like, so my team suffers because we play legit. Like,
I think it should just be accessible. We should give Devers some juice.
yeah,
see what
but then
he can do.
then you're telling guys you have to take steroids and like risk future health issues possibly if you want to be in this game. And then at that point, it's dumb.
And that's why they won't, obviously.
You make the most money, the more juice you have. Like, it's just stupid.
So you got to think that if Judge this year was juiced, he could hit 80 plus. Like, he's unreal.
Who says he's not? No, I'd
love to see it.
I don't think
as much as I hate the Yankees, I think it would be incredible to see somebody break the record and be clean.
Now here's a debate we kind of had. We stopped it quick, but I have a hard time hating Judge, and I'm a Red Sox fan. The only thing I have is he's on the Yankees, but like I don't know what else you could go like screw Judge.
I was talking about this the other day with a lot of people, and I'm on the same page. He seems like a fun guy. You see him on the bases, and he's talking to like the first or second baseman when he's there. Like, he's messing around. He's always smiling. He's not one of those. He's not A-Rod, who's just an asshole running down the bases, yelling "mine" as he's trying to make the infielder distracted. It's not that. He hasn't done anything. Exactly. Oh,
no. It also, like, when they had that fight, remember? I think it was Joe Kelly threw at you know the name, that third baseman. No. It was he got traded to Milwaukee like a week later. We know the guy.
They've had some. Oh, Bird. I want to say Bird.
No,
I forget.
Righty. I think his name was like Trevor something.
But no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I'm gonna look it up real quick. Who did Joe Kelly throw at? Because it's just gonna bother me that Tyler Austin. It's Tyler Austin. That was gonna bother me the rest of the time. But even in that, which you knew, fight was gonna start when he threw at him. Aaron Judge is breaking people up. He's not throwing punches. Him and Stanton, I hate Stanton, but him and Stanton could literally knock out the Red Sox by themselves, and they're choosing not like to break up the fight. And that honestly made me feel worse about it. It's like, wow, we're just assholes.
I mean, especially if you think of like the dichotomy of like the older Red Sox fights, like when A-Rod getting punched in the face by Veritek is forever iconic. But when Manny throws the 60-year-old bench coach of the Yankees, that's iconic. Like, you're not seeing that right now. Like, that's like Judge could solo the Red Sox team if he so chose.
Well, it was when he threw that pitch and the fight was starting. I was watching with my dad, and I was like, "We're not gonna win."
Also, we got to give shout out to Kelly for throwing an absolute haymaker in that fight.
I love Joe Kelly so
I miss him
much.
That 2018 team was fun. I miss them, especially now with us sucking so bad.
I was a fan of that Lackey trade when we got him, and I was telling people, I'm like, Joe Kelly's a guy. Like, you guys are gonna like him. But okay, so we talked enough about Tatis. We both don't like him now, right?
Yeah.
You're cool with him?
Yeah. I
don't like him. I just like I also, for me, it rubs me the wrong way. It's like, it's a 23-year-old taking roids, man.
See, okay, I also think the MLB needs to be much more transparent. They should say what steroid he took so I could Google it and say, oh, okay, so it's an anabolic steroid. Yeah, that's sketchy. But
that's
is it
fair.
like,
this is a good point.
Is it a topical steroid? Like, even if it's not for ringworm, I doubt it. But if it's for something else, like anything else, like maybe he has like a bad foot. Like, sure, it's sketchy that he's trying to speed up a recovery, but as long as it's like anyone says PEDs and you're immediately thinking steroids, juiced, big muscle. He's not exactly a big guy if you look at him.
No, but that's why I'm like, he's so good without PEDs.
So that's why I want it released. Yeah. That's why I want it to come out and say, like, what is this?
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Like the MLB treats it so secretively. Like even when the A-Rod list broke and there was the list of everyone, and it didn't say what they were doing. They went to the doctor. They went to the same doctor, and everyone's like, all right, everyone that listed PEDs. Sure, you can look at some of them and see like McGuire went from being this tiny, like fast, skinny kid to a dude with shoulders the size of like fucking Atlas, but
you want to hear a hot take from a Red Sox fan just now?
All right.
By me that I'm making up now. I think I like Machado more than Tatis now. And that's not saying I like Machado. I'm just saying because
he ended Pedroia's career. He can never be liked.
I know. Like is a strong word. I don't like him. I'm just saying
he cannot be liked more than anyone else. I hate him more than any non-Yankee. There's no one that's not on the Yankees that I do not hate more. That I do hate more than Machado.
Take this stuff out. Tell me if you don't respect this. Him going to San Diego was kind of a baller move.
He went to the Dodgers first.
Well, then he get traded to the Dodgers.
He requested to be traded to the Dodgers.
Yeah, but I'm saying he didn't like.
He was ring chasing. He was ring chasing. That failed, and he was bag chasing.
If you were on Baltimore your whole career, he ring chased for 1 year, and then he went, all right, let me build something.
Yeah, Chris Sale put him into a
Hosmer's the one who started building something, which is why I felt terrible about that trade. But I mean, Machado went there, and like San Diego wasn't really anything.
No,
like they were like, we have Hosmer, we're building something. When it's like, all right, I mean, Hosmer after that World Series is kind of like he's not going to get much better.
No, I can't like Machado just for all of his years in Baltimore and what he did.
I don't want to say like. Don't put this as I
can't like him Machado more than anyone.
I don't like Manny Machado. I'm saying
I can't dislike anyone more. How's that?
My thing is Tatis made the game so exciting when he entered. And like I was all for like screw these unwritten rules people complain about. It's 3-0, bases loaded, and he throwing a meatball. I'm jacking it. I don't care the score or anything. Love that. I love that. I thought it was great. I didn't like that they made him apologize and stuff, but that was like great. And like the celebrating and stuff, like it makes the game more fun. So like I wanted to see him play, and I'm annoyed that he's not playing because he cheated. You can understand that. Like he went from a guy to a guy where I'm just like,
did it make me like him a bit less? Yeah, of course. But I also think in the back of my mind, what if whatever he was using the PED for was a serious thing, other than it just being let me get jacked? What if it was something that he was trying to do like Edelman did, where he had some degenerative whatever?
I
agree. Wouldn't you rather him take these 80 games, not play, and come back and still have a career?
No, I'm with you on. I would like the MLB to like say what's up.
Exactly.
Like,
until they say anything.
What did he take? Why did he take it? Because I am also. I think if you take a PD, you should just be honest. Like, so like if Tatis is honest about that it's like ringworm. I'm not a doctor, but like, doesn't it? Like, I'm not even gonna talk about ringworm. I don't.
So here's something else I want to hear. I want to hear your thoughts on then. If it is ringworm, if that is completely what it is,
does ringworm like leave you, or do you have to like get?
No, you have to treat it with like a topical steroid.
Okay.
Like hydrocortisone, something like that.
So there's no substitute?
No, like it is. I don't know if there's a substitute, but I know that you need to treat it with like
if it is like you have to take it with a steroid, then like
I'm almost positive you need to take an antifungal.
But at that point, why doesn't he go to the MLB and say
that's exactly where I was going?
So that's
I was saying like the MLB
it's all sketchy.
The MLB has a zero tolerance policy. You can't. There have been players where legitimately they did take a banned substance without their knowledge, and they've gone to the MLB, and the MLB says no. It is what?
Did Bond say that? He's like, dude, this foot cream, it just had anabolic steroids.
Yeah, that's why he put on like 200 pounds. Yeah,
I know it was.
But no, like if that legitimately is what it is, the MLB still has a zero tolerance policy.
So,
and I don't know if that's the greatest policy.
So enough with Tatis. I think we got into it, and I think we can come to an agreement that we would like to know more before, I guess, we make any things.
Until the MLB
decisions
releases
on
more, it's all just speculation.
Right. Quick thing. I just want a yes or no. I don't want to get into it because this can be a whole podcast topic, but I just want to know your thoughts. Should guys who take steroids be able to be in the Hall of Fame?
Yes, with an asterisk.
Okay. I'm saying no. We're going to leave it. We're going to move on. If anyone wants that as a topic, let us know. We'll do an episode on it. So now to get into some teams after the deadline that we're noticing stuff. That's how I'm going to intro it. The Yankees, because they traded Joey Gallo, suck now.
And the Dodgers are amazing. Joey Gallo is a born winner.
Joey Gallo is the game changer of baseball.
That's what you need to name this episode. Just Joey Gallo is a born winner.
It'll be Joey Gallo is the face of baseball, and Tatis got suspended. That's what it's going to be called. Perfect.
It is. It's unbelievable. I've never seen. I mean, they've lost 11 of 13 since they traded him. Since the deadline.
And they have. It's not like they're losing to these stud teams. I'm pretty sure
they got shut out by the Red Sox last night. The Red Sox shouldn't be shutting.
Michael Walker's like Cy Young though.
That is something I wanted to mention post-injury when we were talking about the injuries for people coming back. He's silently been putting together a really good year. He's 7-1 with a 2.7 ERA.
So
that's what he was when he was in St. Louis to start his career.
My brother and I were talking about this, and I went, the Red Sox always have the two pitchers. There's the one that has a resurgence with the Red Sox, and there's one who has a resurgence the year they leave with the Red Sox. Every year. Martin Perez with Texas.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
That's such a turnaround because he blew like 2 games in that Astros series, and now he's an all-star with like a 2-some ERA.
Mm-hmm.
I think
one of my least favorite pitchers last year when he was on the Red Sox.
2.79 ERA.
Since they got him in 2020, I hated him and I wanted him gone. I wanted him traded.
I didn't want
him trade. I wanted him cut. Hey, I want him demoted to single A. I could not hate that man enough. Dude, he was not good enough to be on a professional ball club.
Single A is brutal, man. Single A is just like
you don't understand my hatred. Like I'd see he was pitching and just not
like
watch.
The intro step to prospects and guys who are just like, I just want to continue playing baseball, man.
And that's where he.
I don't have a dream. Like you can't say that about him. I didn't like him. I hate him. I hated the signing. I was like, this is like a 7th starter that we're like creating as our second. Which, let me tell you, you know Kurt. Shout out Kurt if he's listening. But I cannot stand some of his baseball takes. And it's because he believes in his team so much that it does not matter who's on the roster. He has faith. This is a Bears fan. He always thinks they're gonna overachieve, right? He doesn't learn, but
it's gonna be a brutal year.
he was surprised that like the Red Sox are struggling. I'm like, look at their rotation. He's like, dude, like Sale, Evaldi, like Walker.
Sale not pitching until July.
Stop.
James Paxton hasn't pitched a game.
Stop. We have him. I forgot.
Speaking of single A though, do you know who legitimately belongs there? Darwinson Hernandez and his 21 ERA.
Because he pitched
single A.
He was on the last year's team. He was like one of the better relievers.
Oh yeah.
I cannot believe
2020 he had an ERA of 2.
Crazy. And like
last year he had an ERA of 3. I'm okay with that as a reliever.
So
as a reliever, you're pitching such short innings, you give up a few runs. Yeah, it inflates your ERA. Like you gave up 15 runs in 40 innings last year. That's fine. This year he's given up 16 runs in 6 innings. Single A. Goodbye.
Honestly, we've talked too much about the Red Sox. I'm done with them. I know they're technically still in it, but like, no, they don't have the roster.
If you're following them, you know they're not.
Like they unless you're Kurt. Shout out Kurt.
Shout out Kurt.
But yeah, Yankees just shouldn't have traded Gallo, and we said it. I do want to make record. We said that was a bad move. Now, I don't think any of us thought it was going to
It
cause
would be
this.
that bad. No, not at all.
Okay. Another team.
The
The
Braves.
Guardians.
Oh, the
I'm
Guardians.
going
Okay.
American League and then
Okay,
going
fair.
National League. So
All right.
the Guardians are hot. And I talked to you about my boy Jimenez carrying my
I don't care
fantasy team.
how hot they get. I'm not scared of a team named the Guardians or the Guardians themselves.
Okay. It's tough to be scared because, like, when you're probably
Like,
like
what
me,
about them are
where-
you going to be scared of?
Well, anytime you look at a postseason team, you immediately go, "What's their pitching looking like?"
And their number
Right.
one pitcher is Kale Quantrill.
Well, is Bieber going to be back or is he done?
I honestly don't know.
Because you're gonna, if Bieber comes back, it's Bieber, McKenzie, Quantrill probably.
Sure, I forgot about McKenzie.
It's not the worst, but compared to the other teams, it's not. Because Bieber's also hasn't been great the whole year.
Oh, so Bieber is back. He actually pitched yesterday.
Okay, but he hasn't been great this year, and he's coming off
No.
injury. So
No, he is not.
you can't count on Cy Young, Shane Bieber.
Mhm.
So it's definitely spooky. Their hitting is what's carrying them. But I mean, I think last year's Red Sox team shows the max potential of hitting. Because that Red Sox team had Schwarber, Kike Hernandez, like on fire, like the greatest hitters in the game at the time. Like you can't count on that, and your hitting can only take you so far.
Bats go cold. As hot as they get, they can go cold just as quickly.
Yeah.
And that's what happened against the Astros last year. As soon as they did, we lost.
That Red Sox team had guys like Nick Pivetta pitching out of their mind. Like, I think that team just showed the farthest you can go. We're like, hitting is why we're here. That's the farthest you can go. I don't think you can win. So, but it is something I noted because at the deadline, the Twins, I think, were 2 games up, and now they're 3 games back. Right. So, like, the Guardians are on fire. And honestly, cool for them because they have the name change, and now it's like they're right back in the postseason. I rate it.
Also, conversely, though, the Twins have been ice cold.
It's tough. I don't want to talk about it.
As soon as you picked them, they decided
as soon as I adopted the Twins for the rest of the playoffs.
That's your mistake.
Oh, I kind of knew it was gonna happen. Honestly, I was kind of like, I'm gonna pick them, and then like they make good deadline moves. I'm gonna get like, hey, maybe, and then like it's just gonna suck. The other night they were up 4-1 heading into the 9th versus the Angels. The Angels scored 3 runs and they lost in extras.
That's the Angels.
I couldn't.
They're brutal.
Okay, another team. Guess we can talk about the Mariners a bit. I mean, Louis Castillo threw a gem versus the Yankees. That was intriguing. And they've beat up on the Yankees. Now that's the thing. The Yankees are cold. So how much do we value that?
Honestly,
I think you have to value it though.
If the Yankees' history is any precedent, they do this every year.
Towards the end.
They look so good until All-Star break. I'll even give them trade deadline. Every year they look so good. And then something changes and they falter down the stretch. Last year they were division leading. All of a sudden they're a wild card team.
Because I'm not going to lie, I bought in. I was like, this Yankees team's just different. They're stacked. And now I'm like, Joey Gallo, man, just
Joey Gallo was their team. They didn't realize it.
He brought everything together. He was probably like such a chaotic thing in the locker room. So they're like, this guy sucks.
Adding 179 more
like,
home runs.
Why is he on the team? And then they trade him and they're like, all right, we can win now. We're good. And now it's like just not working. Joey Gallo
bring in Benintendi thinking
together.
He's batting 300. They bring in Harrison Bader, a great glove.
Which I loved that Jordan Montgomery pitched against them and didn't allow a run. I know it was only 5 innings, but I love that because we also were like, that's a bad move.
The Yankees needed pitching, not another outfielder. I stand by that. Every year, the Yankees don't have enough pitching.
Benintendi, Judge, Hicks, Bader. You can only play 3 of them. And Stanton. You can only play 3 of them in the outfield.
Yeah, I mean, you can put one at DH, which is what they're doing with Stanton probably when he's back.
So it's just like, what? Bader's going to be a pinch runner? You just traded a solid starter for a pinch runner.
When pitching's been your weakness every year in the postseason for the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. But,
Also, something I want to mention, I think Derek Jeter needs to be investigated for collusion. Buying the Marlins and trading Stanton immediately to the Yankees is one of the sketchiest baseball things that has
do you
happened
watch
in our lifetime.
Baseball Doesn't Exist?
No, I do not.
He does a whole video on Derek Jeter, and it is just like Red Sox porn, honestly. Like it's because he's just like brutally honest about him. It's like it's the worst fielder like ever.
He's one of the most overrated players ever.
Yeah, I think he is, and I don't care. Like that to me, that's not controversial. And he goes over like this is the Marlins team he entered with. Within like 2 months, this is what they had. Like he traded every single great player.
Traded Yelich, traded Stanton. Look at
Like,
those two guys now. Like they had the most.
Stanton had the most
home runs. Yep.
Real Muto.
He needs to be investigated, but
like
anyway,
it was just a money thing. Like I didn't get it, but screw Derek Jeter.
He does not deserve his own baseball special.
Going to the NL, let's talk about honestly the top 3 NL East teams, starting with the Mets. Edwin
Diaz and his trumpets are going to carry them to the playoffs. It's what it is.
As
those trumpets.
An Edwin Diaz fantasy baseball owner, I love him. He has been so clutch for me. Every night I open my phone and just see 13 points because he struck out the side, and it's just great. Or whatever. And I have his brother too, who's also filthy.
Wait, who's his brother?
He has a brother on the Reds.
Did not know that. I mean, they're the Reds. Am I really supposed to pay attention to them?
There's a video of them side by side. They have the same throwing motion.
That's funny.
Identical. It's absurd. But he's also very good on the Reds. But
side note on Edwin Diaz, they need to add his trumpets to the show. Like that, everyone would play the Mets. If in the 9th inning you can just bring him in and the game just starts playing.
Shout out to that video. They need to do more of that. Like that's the stuff people want to see. Like you need to glorify these stars more.
What's so funny is
like Edwin Diaz, when that song comes on, like you are scared as the opposing team.
Oh,
you're like, we have to score on this guy who throws 102 in the corners and has a slider at like 95 that cuts at the end.
What's funny is 2 years ago, I had a kid that lived across the hall in my dorm that was a Mets fan, and he sent me a video of basically slandering Edwin Diaz, saying how when you hear Narcos come on, you know the game's over, because he was awful. Like if you remember, he had 56 saves
terrible
in Seattle. He had 56 saves, and the Mets signed him to some big deal, and he is terrible. And Mets fans could not stand him. I just think it's funny.
Like,
I think that happens to closers a lot.
Well, it's all big cities. They don't have patience.
No,
I think you and I, as Boston fans, we are extremely patient. I'm more patient than you because I was the one when the Celtics were struggling where I was like, just wait.
I was about to say, you're calling me patient. You're wrong. I am not patient.
Just wait. But I'm saying, like, for instance,
send Martin Perez to the single A.
After 15 games, like Carl Crawford was killed. Like after like 15 games, Red Sox fans like
deservedly so. He sucked.
He did suck here. What I'm saying is, like, there's no patience. So like
no
with
room
the
for error.
Mets, it was like Diaz blew saves, and it's like he sucks. He's terrible. But at the same time, when they notice you're good again, you're a hero, and
you're a hero.
Like so. You know, now they're like Edwin Diaz is amazing, but people are quick to forget how much he was like disrespected because of one bad year.
It was a really bad year. You can't have an ERA of 5 as a closer.
I know. It was very, very bad year. But I also knew he would turn it around. Like
I also have no faith in the Mets.
Like I think the way I'm going to compare it is, I think it's similar to like Daniel Bard. The only thing is Daniel Bard, they messed him up by making him a starter. Like
he
Edwin Diaz,
starter.
Did he really?
He did. He did not want to be a closer. He ruined his own career.
but he has been great because I also have
which
been.
is sad. Which is sad.
Well, he's on the Rockies, dude, and I think he's re-signed with the Rockies.
He did. Watching him pitch live, his fastball teleported from his hand to the glove.
Yeah, which is just a quick thing. I love the state baseball's in, and it doesn't get the respect it deserves. Like, the fact that these players are able to hit this ball nowadays is absurd. How many guys throw above 100, right?
Every reliever that comes out of the pen nowadays.
And not only
100.
that, I sent you the video of the Braves reliever. Remind me his name. Okay, so this guy, there's a video. Both pitches appear to be going top right corner of the strike zone. Mm-hmm. One is a 102 mile per hour fastball. The other is a 90 mile per hour curveball.
Are you sure you're not thinking of the Twins reliever?
Was it Twins? I thought it was Braves.
Yeah, it's Twins. It's Yohan Duran.
Yes. Okay, that's the guy.
Twins.
It looked like a Braves jersey. That is my fault.
Yeah, no, it was their home, the Twins' home. But I've been hyping him up all year. He's a rookie.
Filthy.
It's disgusting.
Let me just finish the thing real quick. The one pitch is 102 miles per hour, up to the right, mm-hmm. Top right corner of the strike zone. The other appears to be going top right corner of the strike zone, but 3/4 to the plate, it is a curveball that drops bottom left of the strike zone, and it is 90 miles per hour. I don't understand how anyone can tell the difference between the pitches or even just hit the pitches. It's absurd to me. And that's why you see this year. Let me double check my numbers. There is 16 guys hitting 300. Wow. That is not a lot.
Yeah.
Now it's if you hit
number.
250, you're a good starter, right? That's how it is now. Mm-hmm. I mean, Soto's hitting. What's he hitting?
237.
Yeah, but no one's gonna question him. But he's hitting 385 since he joined the Padres. I think
that's good.
I think he just needs.
They didn't score a run the first 17 innings that he was on the team.
Yeah, it was a little alarming, but I wasn't.
You have to think if you're a Padres fan that was a panic.
Oh, come on.
Not a lot, just a little. Oh wow, this is not looking great. 17 innings. That's
if I was in San Diego and people were scared of the Soto trade, I'd probably start fights.
Oh no, I'm not saying the trade itself. Obviously, you know that the trade was. I'm just saying, wow, this year might not be it.
And that was before the Tatis stuff.
That was before the Tatis.
Now you're thinking this year might not be, but they have a chance because if you have Soto and Machado,
that's still two of the top 10 hitters in the game, 15.
Easily 10. This year might be higher.
Yeah, Machado's having a really good year.
But I mean,
there's a lot of good.
I'm not counting them out. I'm just I understand
off the top of my head, yeah,
that the Padres those guys just need to Soto and Machado have to be otherworldly for them to have a chance to beat the Dodgers. Yeah. But the
only thing that the Padres got to hope is that the bracket works out in such a way that the Braves take on the Dodgers, because I think the Braves have the best shot at taking them out.
I agree. I think the Mets have a chance to take out anyone just because they have DeGrom and Scherzer, and then at the end it's Diaz. But
do you have DeGrom though?
As of now,
do you?
As of now, but
he might give you 5 innings and then break a toenail and be done.
It sucks that that's the guy that has to be that injury prone because.
And Trout now too.
Disgusting player.
Two of the
Trout never plays in big games. Okay, fight me.
That's fair.
I think I've turned into a Trout hater.
I'm not a Trout hater. I'm an Angels hater.
I think I've turned into a Trout hater because I'm sick of all the stuff about him, and I'm he's so good and this and that. I understand baseball is the most team sport, but I can't help but be how are we calling him the GOAT when he hasn't really done anything that's of significance?
You can't put that on him. That's the only reason that I can't hate him. He's doing everything in his power.
I would forgive him for stuff, but the one time he actually made the playoffs, he was horrendous.
Yeah, because he said, "Oh damn, I'm not used to this."
And he's still not used to it. And I don't know if
it's only been once.
The only But I will say, because
He has
I've
as many
seen,
MVPs as playoff games.
and some of those he didn't deserve.
Bets.
But because they are trying to drive home the narrative that he's like a GOAT. I get it. But, let's not make it as obvious, please. Now, what was I going to say? Just back to my original point is I love the state the game is in. Every guy that comes in, whether you know the name or not, you're like, oh my God, this guy has insane stuff as a pitcher. And you're just like, how are these hitters going to hit him? And it's just a much more exciting game, I think. And it doesn't get the credit, but I think the product is good. And I think you could argue baseball's talent has increased the most in recent years. You could argue it. I don't think that's true because I also look at stuff where like football wide receivers in their rookie year are getting 1,500 receiving yards, or basketball rookies are averaging 20 a game and taking on some of the best players and going one-on-one with them.
And then there's hockey.
Well, I cannot say anything about hockey. I don't really watch hockey and I don't really know about it. But yeah, I just want to say baseball's in a great state, I think, and I like it. And I'm back in on baseball because for a while I wasn't. Talk about the Braves quickly because I know this is one we missed on because we thought the Braves were going to overtake the Mets. We thought they made amazing deals.
They're hot though. There's still 40 games.
No, they haven't. Well, they are hot, I guess. But
yeah,
I mean, it was just that Mets series was a little like, oh.
Yeah, they're facing them again. I mean,
that.
they're 5.5 back. I mean, they're.
But weren't they 2 back when we last did a podcast?
Yeah, no, they've lost some ground. I mean, that series hurt. I get that, but it's hard to fault them when they're one of 5 teams over 70 wins. They just happen to be in the wrong division.
No, not faulting them.
Do I still think that they could win the division? Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I think they could. It's tougher now. They have to at least win the series, which is the Mets. Sweep would be ideal.
I mean, they're up 3-0 in a rain delay right now.
Cool. And then I want to talk about the Phillies a bit. Because they've been hot, and Bryce Harper today took BP. And I think Harper is so hated that I like him. Because I'm kind of like this, where I'm like, I like the fact that no one likes this guy. So I'm in on him. Like, that's kind of how I am with some of these players. I think Bryce Harper is one of those guys where people don't like him because early he was looking like, oh, he wants the MVP again. Then he got hurt, right? But I like to see him get a shot in the playoffs and see what he can do. I don't think the Phillies have a great shot, but they've been playing great without him, and with him, be interesting to see what happens. Also, I'd like Aaron Nola to pitch in some big games because I'm a fan of him. And I think he's
Zach Wheeler,
criminally underrated. Zach Wheeler as well. That's just my quick Phillies thoughts. Cardinals are hot.
I mean, they're running away with that division. The Brewers waved the white flag.
I'm gonna say a hot take that my friend Will said. People on the podcast know Will. He said he wants co-MVPs to Arenado and Goldschmidt. Thoughts?
I'm not a fan.
Why? I said no, but I thought it's a better debate than you think.
It takes away from the title of most valuable player. It takes away so think about future races when they're not on the same team. If there are two players that are close, it sets the precedent where the voters can have a cop out of saying, "Oh, this is too tight of a race. We'll get hated on either way. Whoever we choose, just give them co-MVP."
So you don't like that since they're on the same team?
No, I think on the same team, if you're going to do it, this would be the best year. But I think it sets a dangerous precedent.
So you don't hate the idea. You're just like, you don't like the future implications of it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think this is the time because it's like Goldschmidt obviously is hitting better than Arenado, and that's not to say Arenado's not great, but it's like Arenado has 30 points less on his average. I think he has like 5 homers less, maybe like 16 RBIs less. But you can also look and go, Arenado's one of the best fielding third basemen, and that impacts the game a lot.
Mhm.
And, you know, I hear the WAR shit, which, you know, I hate that stat. And I'm going to write an article on why I don't like that stat. Because to me, it's similar to like Pro Football Focus grade, where it's like this stat we made up, right? And it's cool to look at, and it's cool to be like, oh, look at that. Or, you know, oh, this guy got a 92.2 last week, like someone to keep an eye on, that kind of thing. But it's like when you're deciding the most important award on it, and that's the main factor of who has the highest WAR, I just think it's stupid. You know what I'm saying? That's my issue with it. But I'll write a very in-depth article on it and, you know, let the people know when that's up.
I hate. So I know earlier you said you love the direction baseball is going. And from a player sense, I totally agree. A direction that I'm not such a fan of is how analytic heavy it's getting.
Yeah,
like I was having a conversation with somebody the other day saying that this pitcher's, I'm not even going to fill in because it was, I forget who exactly we're talking about, but this pitcher is not having a great year because his ERA isn't great. Yeah, well, did you look at his ex-WOBA and his FIP? And
yeah. Dude, I don't even know what FIP is, but everyone talks about it.
Fielding independent pitching. It's the 3 outcomes. It's strikeout, walk, home run. That's what it is. I've started learning this stuff because I can't have conversations with people because they're like, don't talk to me.
There's some what's the podcast you told me to listen to?
Just baseball.
They're always like, he has this FIP, and I'm like, dude, I don't.
To be fair, they were ex-scouts, so they have to know that stuff.
I don't care when you tell me.
No, exactly.
This guy is the number 3 pitcher in baseball in their ranking, and the first stat they tell me is FIP. It almost makes me discredit your take, even though I agree
FIP,
with them.
Okay, I know I just said I hate advanced analytics. FIP I like for pitching. Because if you have shitty defenders behind you, if you have really bad defenders behind you, because say it's not an error, say like Renfroe, when he was on the Red Sox, he's a slow outfielder. He was letting balls drop that if it was JBJ out there, he's going to catch. That's not an error. That guy later scores. That's an earned run. FIP discounts that, and it gives them more. So I get that. The other reason I like just baseball, I'm not going to slander them for their advanced analytics, is the fact that they use them for gambling, and they're very... those analytics are sometimes extremely helpful for gambling.
Gotcha. We don't promote gambling.
No, not at all. Only if you're over 21, kids.
So next, honestly, talked about all the teams I wanted to because we got into the Dodgers and Padres a bit. I guess Brewers don't really care about.
Brewers waved the white flag.
Yeah,
Giants are a disappointment. They're 500. So all
right. Nationals going to take home the worst record. I think that's.
Yeah, as soon as they traded Soto, that was a done deal.
CJ Abrams got called up though.
Oh, good for him.
So he'll get some time. That's pretty good. Hopefully some fans will be like, oh, we'll take the $5 tickets to watch hopefully our future. Has Mackenzie Gore pitched for them yet? Or is he injured?
No, he's injured. He got traded while injured.
He's probably going to be done the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm. No reason to bring him up.
No point.
Nothing to play for.
Pitch him. Any other closing thoughts, Bobby? Or
no, I think I'm all set.
You're all set. All right, I think I'm all set. Well, thank you to anyone who listened to this podcast.
Thank you for having
me. Thank you, Bobby, for joining. We'll have him on a lot more. Just want to say I'm planning to put a lot more time into this podcast, get some more content out there. There will be a jersey giveaway on my Instagram when I reach probably 100 followers, honestly. I think I'm at like 43, but I think 100 is a good number. So if you follow that, you can be notified on. You'll just have to do some stuff like the post and whatnot. I'm planning to. I have a new logo coming. My friend is working on a new logo for this, so we can get rid of the logo that looks like a beauty salon. That's what one of my friends said it looked like.
Jeez.
But to be fair, I made it for free, and I'm not an artiste.
Nah, that's good. Good for you, honestly.
So,
I could
whatever, but it is time for a change. Hoping to also launch a website so I will write articles on it. I have some other friends that want to write articles, and you'll get a bunch of content for that. Hoping to get some clips from each podcast and post them on like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I'm also going to be uploading these podcasts to YouTube. Trying to think if there's anything else I'm planning on doing. Oh, I also hope, which Bobby, you might join me for some of these.
okay.
After Pat's games, just quick like 30-minute recap, maybe even
Okay.
20-minute thoughts every Sunday, or depending
I'd be
on
interested,
when
yeah.
they play or the timing and whatnot. Just
Or
get
how
quick
horrible
thoughts
they are.
out there.
Sometimes they're not deserving.
We'll still do it if they're horrible. We'll still do it
I
if they're horrible,
guess.
you know? But so that's some stuff I have planned. You should definitely follow because I'm planning to put a lot more work into this, and it can also benefit you. You could win some giveaways. Who knows? You know, and get some good content too. Hopefully we teach you some about sports, and that's that. So thank you everyone for listening, and tune in next time.